Turning our attention to how Indian Air Force Chief Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa and Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman flew in the trainer version of the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter aircraft. These are the visuals that we are getting to you. This was also the last sortie of the Indian Air Force Chief in a combat aircraft. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, remember, had downed a Pakistani F-16 jet during the aerial dogfight that took place between India and Pakistan in the month of February. And these visuals of the Wing Commander flying again, it is a moment that people across India and across the world as well have there's been a lot of anticipation for this moment on your screens now. Let's just also tell you a little bit more about the aircraft that is being used for this operation. This is the trainer version of the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter aircraft. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman is back on the field after about 6 months flying a sortie and will be joined by the Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, remember, has been regarded as a hero for downing a Pakistani F-16 jet during the aerial dogfight between India and Pakistan after India had carried out the Balakot airstrikes. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman flying in the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter aircraft. He's back on the field after 16 months. Let's also tell our viewers that this will be the last sortie of the Indian Air Force Chief in a combat aircraft. It was on the 27th of February that Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman had foiled that Pakistan retaliation. It's a joint flight that he's now undertaking 6 months after that dogfight. He's taking that joint flight with the Indian Air Force Chief, flying in a MiG-21 fighter. He was recently cleared fit to fly again. Remember, a lot of procedures were carried out post his return from Pakistan. In the month of February, on the 27th of February, when that dogfight took place, he was captured by Pakistan and was in their captivity. Pakistan was forced to return the Wing Commander. And post his return, a lot of procedures were carried out to ensure that he was fit to fly again. Now, this is a joint sortie that he is undertaking back on the field after 16 months, along with the Indian Air Force Chief. It's a moment that has been anticipated for the longest time. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman is back to fly. Today marks the successful return to flying of the Wing Commander. He was undergoing intense medical tests following his release from Pakistan. He was recently cleared fit for flying again. And this is the joint sortie that he's now undertaking with the Indian Air Force Chief. During that dogfight that took place on the 27th of February, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman was flying a MiG-21 fighter. During that dogfight, he shot down a Pakistani F-16 jet. Post that, he was captured by Pakistan after he landed on their side and was in their captivity. Islamabad was forced to return him, and post his capture, There has been a lot of anticipation for his return to the field, and he has undergone a lot of medical tests, a lot of procedures to ensure and to check that he was fit for flying again. He is now back on the field after 6 months. On your screens is the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter jet that Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman is in, and he is undertaking that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief B.S. Dhanoa. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman was also conferred with the Veer Chakra for his heroics during the 27th February dogfight, during which he shot down the Pakistani F-16 jet. Post his release from Pakistani captivity, he had undergone several medical tests and procedures to ensure that he was fit for flying. He is now back on the field undertaking that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief. On your screens now are the visuals of Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman back on the field after 6 months. A lot has transpired during those 6 months. He has been undergoing several medical tests, procedures to ensure that he was cleared fit for flying. He was recently cleared fit and was declared fit and cleared for flying, and is now undertaking that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief. That's the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter aircraft on your screens, that flight being undertaken from the Pathankot Air Base. It is a moment that has been highly anticipated. Remember, ever since Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman had shot down that Pakistani F-16 jet on the 27th of February, there had been a lot of anticipation over when Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman will be taking to the skies yet again. He is now back and in the MiG-21 Type 69 fighter aircraft undertaking There we have those visuals of that sortie being undertaken by Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, marking his successful return to the field, his successful return to flying after about 6 months. Remember, on the 27th of February, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman had shot down a Pakistani F-16 jet during an aerial dogfight between India and Pakistan in the aftermath of India's Balakot airstrikes, in which it had targeted the biggest terror camp of the Jaish-e-Mohammed on the Pakistani side, and post which, in that dogfight, after Abhinandan Varthaman had shot down that F-16 Pakistani jet, He landed on the Pakistani side, after which he was captured by Pakistan, and was Islamabad was then forced to release him. Post his return to India, he has been undergoing several medical tests, intense procedures, after which he was declared fit for flying. And this moment now marking his successful return to flying as he takes that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief. He's back in the skies after 6 months, taking that sortie from the Pathankot Air Base. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman on your screens there, undertaking a sortie. This is at the Pathankot Air Base, and this moment is extremely significant because it's the first time that Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman is flying after he'd shot down a Pakistani F-16 jet during an aerial confrontation between India and Pakistan. That was on the 27th of February, and for the last about 6 months, he's been undergoing intense medical tests, post which he was declared fit for flying. He was cleared for flying, and today marking that successful return to the skies for Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman as he undertakes that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief. It's a moment that's been highly anticipated. That's the MiG-21 Type 69 aircraft taking off from the Pathankot Air Base, marking Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman's successful return after about 6 months. What a moment there. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman back in the skies after 6 months. Remember, for the last 6 months, he's been undergoing intense medical tests after his downing of the F-16 jet of Pakistan on the 27th of February, post which, remember, he was captured by Pakistan and Islamabad was then forced to return him. And post his return, there has been a lot of anticipation over when Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman will be back in the skies. And that's a joint sortie that he has undertaken with the Indian Air Force Chief. This was these are the images that we're getting to you from the Pathankot Air Base. Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, remember, was flying a MiG-21 and had shot down a Pakistani F-16 jet on the 27th of February during that aerial confrontation. This was just a day after India had targeted the biggest Jaish-e-Mohammed camp in Pakistan in Balakot. And post those airstrikes, Pakistan had attempted to infiltrate Indian airspace. During that confrontation, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman in his MiG-21 had shot down a Pakistani F-16 jet. He landed on the Pakistani side and he was captured. Islamabad was forced to return him, and post his return, this is the first time that he is taking to the skies and undertaking that joint sortie with the Indian Air Force Chief. This is at the Pathankot Air Base where this moment is being witnessed. That's all we have time for in this edition. We're taking a very short break. Much more coming up on the other side. Stay with us.